Howdy folks, Todd here with Great Escape Farms. Today we are going to walk and talk about our 850-foot swale that we have here at Great Escape Farms. It runs from right here behind me all the way back to behind that garage over there. And it has several different neat aspects, at least I think they're neat. And we're going to talk about what a swale is, some of the neat aspects that we have, how we tunnel underground, some of the experiments that we have going on, and what it looks like if it's unkept, because some of it has been kept up and weeded and other parts have just been kind of left go and I haven't done anything with this year. So let me turn this camera around and we'll get to showing. So at the moment, this swale either ends or begins, whichever way you want to look at it, right here. And eventually it will continue and actually go up and capture rainwater off of, there's the shed back there, and we will also, that will capture all of the rainwater from the roadway up there, which is going through the culverts right now and going down there. It's a dirt road. It's not heavily traveled, so it won't have a bunch of nastiness like a hard pan road that's heavily traveled would. So I don't mind taking the water off of that and bringing it back around here into the landscape. So that is a future project. For right now, let's just talk about what we have. So with this is a swale, a ditch on contour. We ran a 2-bottom plow, 2 runs through the dirt on the downhill side, and then we broke it up with a very heavy hoe called a rogue hoe, a firefighter's tool, and that broke the sod up. And then we went ahead and we put mulch down and we planted into it. We did not pack it down, so it's very, very loose soil. Most things in here are perennial, but interplanted, and you'll see one right here, is an annual. So we put squash and cucumbers and stuff like that in. So the squash we plan on coming out this way, the cucumbers we plan on going back up to the fence. By the way, let me talk about the fence here too. The fence, I have a chicken free range area back there, and I don't want the chickens in the swale here, so we put this fence up. And we had a weed issue last year, so this year I weed whacked down real low, and when the leaves fell, we put oak leaves in here and we crunched them down, so they're packed in heavily. In other areas I have oak leaves with some mulch on top of it, some hardwood mulch, and that's holding it in. So that is why that's there. So the girls keep the weed pressure down on the other fence side, and it eliminates a weed pressure on this side. In the ditch itself here, I just hit with a weed whacker, and I need to hand pick weeds here. I did it, when did I do this? It's probably 4 to 6 weeks ago, and every once in a while I'll pull a couple up. I see a couple weeds here and there, and as I'm walking by, normally I would pick those up, but this isn't too bad until we get to this point right here. And this is actually a 16-foot spillway. So from this flag, and there's another one buried in there that has been overtaken by the raspberry bush there. So this has been packed down, and it is 4 inches lower than any other point on the swale wall here, and that is all by design. So everything is level on the swale, so when we have water in here, it's level all the way across, and if I have a low spot, the water is going to go over here. The idea is the spillway is very, very wide, it's packed down, and although it's not nice grass, but eventually we'll have something nice here, or some grass here, something with roots to hold it together, and that will allow it to gracefully overflow and send the water into the stream there. And the stream has, or I'm sorry, the pond there, and the pond has other ways of gently and gracefully letting water out of it. So this is the way that we manage the water here. And you can see we have lots of nice raspberries in here. The plants absolutely love it here. Why on earth would we have a swale? Well, I am looking level right now. If you notice, I have to pan up to see the top of the hill up there. So we are on quite an incline down here. So when we might get 10 or 15 or 20 inches of rain in the summer here, problem is it all comes in an hour. But it's not an hour all at once. It's 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. It's a thunderstorm that just drops a bunch of rain. Well, it all comes in a downpour, and because the ground is so hard, it just rides along the land, and we want to actually stop it here. So a swale is a ditch. It actually stops it, and because we did not pack down where the plants are here, it allows it to slowly seep in there. We do have the graceful spillway, so we hope to keep water on the land as long as possible. So here's one of my experiments right here, and this is, I went through with a weed whacker. So I weeded up on the hill, I weed whacked very, very closely in the ditch here, and then I came in and I put the landscape fabric in, and the landscape fabric is designed to keep the weed pressure down, and I will allow various different squash, melons, watermelon and squash, and summer squash and winter squash and everything to grow on this. So I did it last year. I had it growing in here, but it was without the landscape fabric. Everything grew well, but it just looked like a weedy mess. So I'm hoping this takes care of it a little. Actually, I think it's a cucumber, supposed to go the other way, but it'll show what I hope to have this look like here in a bit. And that would be right here, that it just kind of grows out onto the landscape fabric and gets it looking a little bit nicer. And oh no, that is a honeydew melon. So I was thinking it was cucumber. So cucumber is supposed to go back on the fence, and the squash is supposed to come up here. So that one is supposed to be down here. So it's off to a good start. Here is a watermelon. So hopefully I will get it out, and that would make this a cucumber. I need to send it back. And this is another type of melon. Looks like a little, what do they call that? Patty pan or something like that. Patty pan squash there. So lots of different things coming here. And then we come up to one of our pipes that go underground here. So I have to have paths because I need to deliver chicken feed and stuff back to the girls here. So this path allows me to do that. So this swale is connected with that swale via these two 4-inch pipes, and everything is perfectly level here. So when I do have a big rain event, everything is level across. So we pick back up on this side, and that's where the two pipes come out, and I have one other path up ahead. So this section of swale was the last section that I did. I actually just weeded the top part a couple of days ago, so it's not too bad. So it looks pretty good right here. A different variety of plants because they were planted a year later than the previous section was. And then I have two 4-inch pipes here that go under the ground over here. This path allows me to drive a circle around there without having to worry about turning anything around. My trailer is a pain to turn around in small spaces. So a circle allows me to keep it going straight. And this area is overgrown. I have not weeded this once this year. Plants all seem to be doing okay with it. Here's where the two 4-inch pipes come out. Plants are okay, but it's just kind of an eyesore. I will have to come in here and do some weeding in here. My wife hasn't said anything yet, but I'm sure she's not appreciative of the looks of this all overgrown like this. So I have areas, was the very first swale that was put in over 2 years ago, and it obviously needs some more mulch put on it. So I need to weed and maybe put some cardboard down to keep the mulch down, or to keep the weeds down. And you'll notice it's damp right here. I do have some puddling in here because it is the oldest area, and it's been trampled down a good bit more in the path here and also right there. So I need to make sure, pull the laser level out and make sure that's not lower than my spillway, because if it is, that will cause a washaway issue. And we are just about at the end here. You'll notice I actually have a step up right here. I only included this section of the swale right here to capture any runoff from the garage, and that right there is my release for when I winterize this. So I will release whatever is left in these tanks here in October, November time frame, and that way it will all go into the swale. When I did it last year, we had just had a big rain. They were full, so I had 3,100 gallons of water. It went all the way over to around where the chicken coop was, and it didn't make it all the way across. And the reason is, remember I said we didn't pack any of this down? Well, the water actually sunk into the landscape before it got all the way over there, and by the time it got over there, it was kind of all into the landscape here. So 3,100 gallons. This swale will hold a lot more water than that in a big rain event and stop it and let it sink into the landscape. So that is the majority of this part of the swale. We also have, and I don't think you can see any of it, but there's another swale across that whole property up there with the spillway in the center. And longer range plans on this side is somewhere down a little bit lower to put another swale in and basically take any overflow from that swale, which that one is catching everything off of the road up there, the building up there, and the entire property. So that swale is getting a lot of water. We will deliver that over here, and once I move the logs and everything, it should drop off right here and dump it into this swale. So that will allow us to just have lots and lots of water across this property here. Anyhow, enough of me yammering on. This video is long enough. If you have any comments, if you're doing a swale yourself, let me know what you're doing. If you have any ideas, suggestions, or anything else, I'm always up to giving an experiment to try. Let me know what you got going on. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you very much for tuning in.